Hello, everybody. Well, here's Hutch's Hunch. We've got an update on the storm system track and timing. We got two storms ahead. One begins tomorrow, another one Friday and into Saturday, both with travel impacts to different areas of our viewing area. I'll have details and what you can expect coming up in this version of Hutch's weather. But first, my friends at Robert Gibb and Sons want to ask you if you have a clogging or leaky or slow drain or faucet. They can help get that taken care of for you. Trust the experts with over 110 years of experience when it comes to your plumbing needs. Call Robert Gibb and Sons. 24/7 emergency services are available. All right, let's talk about the latest forecast, shall we? And as we take a look at this model here, this is the hourly updated model. It's high resolution, so it does give us a little bit closer look as to what we're expecting to see here as we head into your day tomorrow on Wednesday. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, and here's a look at what I anticipate. Number one, as we go through the overnight hours, what you're going to see here is a system of snow that's moving into Montana now will kind of spread north as we go into the midday hour into parts of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Now, our winds will be southerly. Do you see this, well, mixed precipitation here? Some of us will get drizzle and spits and drizzle and mizzle and all kinds of slippery nonsense out there with the south winds warming temperatures, but not above freezing. The problem is this happens because above the ground we have air that's well above freezing, and that melts snowflakes and ice crystals into water that falls on frozen surfaces. So we could have some slippery roads developing, but it does not look heavy as we head into our afternoon drive home. Here we are, drive time home. It's heading into the oil patch, eastern Montana and northwest parts of North Dakota. Now, as we head into your evening, scattered showers of snow here, warm front, southeast winds for us. Up north, northeast winds will drive drier air into the system, and it's going to move through fairly quickly as we go through our late Wednesday night. So here's a look at 10 o'clock at night. Most of us will have seen some passing showers of snow. Our southern counties here and southern North Dakota will basically see a pretty narrow band of snow making its way through. That's one thing to keep in mind. Notice how wide the area of snow is across northern Minnesota. A couple of bands could be heavier as the low pressure center right here works its way through. What that means is our most area for snowfall that looks like it could be accumulating will be up in parts of northern Minnesota. This lasts right into your Thursday morning as my mouse made a run for it here. Let's see. Oh my, let's see if I'm still rocking and rolling here. I'm sorry about that. I dropped my mouse and my clicker right on the floor. So here we go. It's happened before, believe me. It's live and it's one of those fun things. So as we go through the late part of the day here into your Thursday morning, we'll see the snow exiting before daybreak for many of us. And then the cold front starts swinging through. Gusty northwest winds over 35 miles per hour are going to rip through. And that brings a chance for some meaningful blowing snow throughout the day on Thursday, even though the snowfall will have made its way through. Now let's take a look at this forecast model's idea as far as how much snow potential we might be talking about with it. See if this is a change over what we were looking at before. Here we go. As we set this into motion then, as the snow makes its way through, beginning late tomorrow night. Remember, it doesn't begin until later tomorrow night. We get a quick dose of a ½ inch to an inch of snow by the time we get to the 10 o'clock hour. So late night travel will be compromised here and there. More prolonged snow in northern Minnesota, as we've been talking about, and along and north of, say, Highway 200 across North Dakota. Look at Manitoba. Look at Saskatchewan. We're screeching in Saskatchewan with upwards of 10 inches of snow forecast by this model. Check this out. Rainy Lake, if you're in International Falls, Grand Rapids, all the way out through Walker, and Bemidji not too far from this rapid ramp upward. And if you're in Waskish, do you see where your area gets into the pinks here? All right. What that means is if we draw a line down through Lakes Country, we're talking about parts of Marshall County, Minnesota, Polk County, Minnesota, straight down through eastern Becker and eastern Ottertail. We're going to see a ramping up from maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow to 2 to 5 inches of snow, with a few getting more than that. That's round one. Now here in the south, Fargo, Moorhead, what does Hutch expect? I think an inch or so, and it'll come fairly quickly as the system gets started with the wind. Look at Jamestown. Look at south central North Dakota. Not as much snow in these parts here. Do all models agree with this? No. Let's take one quick look at another model here with regards to the snowfall potential. Looks very similar. Northern Minnesota and areas north of Highway 200 and really Highway 2 having the brunt of the snowfall. That's another hourly updated model. We'll look at one more just for giggles as we head into our night tonight. Similar story. So now you've taken a look at three high-resolution models. All three high-resolution models look very similar, but our numbers are lurching all over the place. And that's why meteorologists use a range based on what we anticipate to happen and which models are what we call initializing well. The first few hours of the model. How are they faring? So we can take a look at that real quickly. But if we have any questions, as always is the case, please drop a note here for me right below. But let's go ahead and take a look. Now, this is round one of a couple of storm systems that'll be making their way through this week. See if I've got any questions out there. Hi, Nathan. Good to have you on board. Amanda, thanks for watching in the Perham area. Hi, Betty. Good to have you on as well. And Grafton joining in with Kathy here as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So here is our storm system working its way through. As we go through, we're going to have some challenges to our roads late Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. And then the afternoon impacts will continue with gusty northwest winds ushering in some colder temperatures throughout the day. We're going to look at that second wave of snow here in just 1 minute, but here's what you can expect for tonight. Overnight low temperatures, Minnesota, single digits, and it does look like our wind will generally be coming more from an east-northeasterly direction, and it will become more southerly as that low pressure system moves out of the west as we go through the day. So lighter winds, coldest weather in the oil patch and central parts of North Dakota, where we'll have some sub-zero readings there. Now, as we head into the afternoon, we're going to see temperatures rise from the single digits into the teens. Notice here in southeast North Dakota and most of Minnesota will have that southerly flow. And because of that, I was talking about this earlier, but a chance for some mixed precipitous precipitation in the southern counties. Not too widespread, but please watch it. Watch those roads because we could have a sneaky slippery spot that gets some freezing drizzle as we go through the afternoon drive, particularly. Now, notice temperatures up north not as warm. Grand Forks all the way up towards Hallock and Langdon. Between 5 and 10 degrees for most of you in the 4 o'clock hour, and the wind picking up from the southeast upwards of 25 miles per hour will drive that moist air up into the and over the colder air aloft. That's what makes the snow system working its way through. So again, a quick look at the snowfall forecast along and north of Interstate 94, really along and north of Highway 200. We'll have some snow. Fargo, anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of snow potentially, with higher amounts up in parts of Minnesota. This is what I've been showing throughout the day. Rod, thank you very much for supporting Hutch with Stars. I sure appreciate that very, very much. And if you happen to be anywhere where this color starts changing from the blues to the whites, woohoo, check it out. We're talking about some serious snow, but still shovel worthy for most. How about a chance at using your snow machines? Do you have your snow machines out? Drop a comment and a photo on hutchesweather.com. Let me see you playing in the snow out there. Maybe enough snow in a few areas to groom some trails. Okay, let's take a look at the big picture here now as we go through. I've got every day highlighted in red. Why? Is it going to be a smack of snow in winter every day, all day? No. But here's what's going to happen. Snow and freezing drizzle from the afternoon on Wednesday into Thursday morning very early. Then gusty, blowing snow and drifting snow. It's going to be pretty tricky out there Wednesday and into Thursday morning, maybe even into Thursday afternoon. Skies clear, calming winds, cold temperatures, particularly for those of you with 3-4 inches of snow in northern Minnesota. I do believe some of you will dip down to the daisies. We're talking about temperatures that'll make your toes turn purple, because I expect in the deeper snowfall with light winds, calmer winds, we're going to talk about lows that'll be pushing 20 below actual air temperatures. Now, we warm up on Friday as we get the south wind out ahead of the next weather-making system. This one looks like even more snow. This one looks like it could be storm-worthy. Friday night into Saturday for parts of our viewing area, and that includes North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota. Montana, you're not out of the woods, nor is Iowa, as we take a look at this system here momentarily. What we know about this second system, once it moves through, real cold sets in. Hutch's temperatures are lower than most that you're going to see out there. Why? Why don't you ask? I'll tell you. Number one, when we get fresh snow in Fargo and when the skies clear out and the winds calm down, it's the perfect equation for cold temperatures. Sometimes our forecast models don't handle this very well, and that's where forecasting experience can come to play in this. So I'm banking on some measurable snow for Fargo, for Detroit Lakes, for Fergus Falls, for Perham, for all of you in New York Mills to Wadena, from Park Rapids straight south into Morris and Benson. And because of the snow showers there and the Twin Cities, it's going to be cold following this system. Not only Arctic air, but you know what happens here in North Dakota and Minnesota and Montana when we get deep snow on the ground and a high pressure system providing clear skies for long periods of time after fresh snow? We become the birthplace for these cold air systems. John, thanks again. Susie, Mesa, Arizona. Wow, let's see how things are going for you. It's going to be cold at the end of this. Now, before we get to Mesa, Arizona, I hope you can hold on, Susie. I want to show everybody what's going on there. And it looks like we do have some thanks from East Grand Forks. Barbara, it's good to have you on board as well. Here's what we're watching for. This is what that second wave of snow is. Now, this is just one model, the European model, starting Friday, lasting into late Saturday, and it continues to move right into the Great Lakes, causing some serious nonsense there. Look at this. Where you see the pinks, the models are saying potential, and I've been spelling potential wrong on my graphics, so I'm going to say right now, sometimes Hutch's fingers know how to do the walking, but they get a little tangled up sometimes, so my apologies for that. All I can tell you is over 4 inches, why I put 4++ on the forecast, that's because I do think we're going to have some spots in our area. This could shift 200 miles one way or the other. It could dry up too. I've seen that happen. But for now, we're going to put out that update, that Hutch's hunch, that we have a pretty potent system potentially for Friday and into Saturday here with some of the most meaningful snow in our area. Now, if Fargo does indeed pick up 6 inches of snow, as this model would indicate, what does that mean? Well, we're at about 12 to 14 inches for the entire season so far. So that substantially lurches us up into the right direction. And if you're in Fergus Falls, or look at this, Brainerd Lakes area, Wadena County, well, out there in Todd County as well, we're going to see some potential there for some heavier snow. Again, this could lurch a little bit north, a little bit south. Kathy, thanks for the stars. Looks like a stars party out there. Rod, thanks so much for everybody's support in helping Hutch continue to deliver the weather. You guys are fantastic. Now, a couple of things. This system here, as it works through, do more than one model. I'm just showing you the European model so far. What does the other model say? The American model says even more snow. Okay, so this system has the potential, because of the type of system it is, to deliver a punch and a band, and it'll be a narrow band. It won't be this wide with the heavy snow, but it'll be a narrow band of real heavy snow, potentially well over 4 inches for some, according to the American model, right through North Dakota and northern South Dakota and into Minnesota. So great chance of Montana flakes, great chance of North and South Dakota flakes, and Minnesota flakes. And this system will skirt all the way to the East Coast, folks. So I'm just showing you the 24-hour snowfall amounts between Friday and Saturday at noon. That's it. And it's going to be snowing for some time more than that as it heads through the Great Lakes. Okay, now I want to show you some fun and questions. Please bring questions. Rochelle, Illinois is watching. Wow. Fargo and Grand Forks families. Marge, thanks so very much. I'm glad you're checking out the broadcast from your warmer areas out there in Illinois. Now let's take a look at what's going on here on the radar. We're going to look at temperatures. Okay, so if you're in Mesa, Arizona, you're looking out there, you're just leaning back and going, hee, look at this, 6 below. That's War Road, Minnesota. Waskish, Minnesota, 4 below. 11 below in Ely, Minnesota. And oftentimes Ely is one of the coldest places in the country. Check out International Falls. It's no picnic there either. The picnic basket, solid ice, 11 below zero. 5 in Carrington, 3 Jamestown, 3 Bismarck, 7 Fargo, Fergus Falls at 7 degrees, and that's what's going on now. Now, as we take this map out just a little bit further, let me show you something. Let's go at the USA view, shall we? How about this? 70 as we go down into the Gulf Coast states. Jacksonville a little cooler at 55. Okay, now turn the page down here. Look at Albuquerque, 59 there. But once we get down into southern reaches of Arizona, things are a little bit more gooder there. All right, let's take a look as we zoom right into the Phoenix and Mesa area, 75 degrees. I got nothing to say. It looks really nice for all of you. Sam, thank you very much for supporting Hutch's Weather. How much snow will we get in Cullum? Brad, we got two systems. The first system will be well north of Cullum. I don't anticipate problems Wednesday into Thursday other than wind and some blowing snow and icy roads, Brad. But the second system, Friday into Saturday, has a legit chance of delivering several inches of snow to Cullum, southern North Dakota. And by several inches, we're going to just say it looks like a pretty decent bet that there's going to be a band of 4 to well over 4 inches of snow out across your area. Now, as we take a look at the big radar here nationally, you can see that it's not just the temperatures that are cold across the nation's northland here. Where you see that whiter color, the blue, that's where we have the freezing line right now. It's dipping south into Kansas. That's not too peculiar and not too uncommon for this time of the year. But let me go ahead and get my eyeballs adjusted and take a look at our radar across the nation. Now, as we let this populate, there's exiting snow out of the northeastern United States. Here comes the next system. This is the one that's going to bring snow, and we do have winter storm warnings across Montana. Thursday looks awful for shoveling, Sean. That's indeed the case, especially in our northern counties on Thursday. It's going to be a difficult day for shoveling up there with the winds blowing so much. Hi from Bemidji, Joanne. Look at what's going on in the state of California right now as we zoom in and take you out to the western one half of the United States. From Boise all the way down into the Sierra Nevada, we have a very wet weather-making system. Here's what's going on. This one's making landfall. Heavy snow in the elevated terrain of the Sierra Nevada. Very heavy rain causing flood warnings across much of Sacramento, Fresno, the valleys down into San Jose. As we look at this system, much needed rain there, but Southern California, where the fires ravaged much of that area, still pretty dry. Now, this snow system, the moisture from it is really going to be wrung out in the Rocky Mountains, the western facing slopes of the Rocky Mountains. So Boise, while it's pretty quiet there, we're expecting some enhanced snowfall totals in the mountains, both just north of you and off to the east of you. Missoula, Montana, it's still snowing there. And if you want to take a peek, we do have actual warnings in place across most of Montana, California, much of the mountains up here off to the west as well, into Oregon, Portland, Oregon, all the way down into Medford, Oregon, and Redding in California. A lot of green. That's those flood warnings I was speaking of. You get in the basin here in Idaho, not so much expected here in Boise, but around that whole basin, we do have some very snowy weather taking place. That extends up into northeast Montana, where we do have some of our DOT cameras trained, and you can go to hutchesweather.com for this. And I just want to continue to reiterate this for those of you who have not used this as a resource for you in making decisions. Hutchesweather.com is made for you to have all the information at your fingertips that you need. So look at the interactive radar, move it to where you need to. Are you traveling to the big sky country of Montana? Looks pretty snowy. I wonder what it looks like. I wonder how much snow they've had. Click on the snowfall amounts here. If you click on the snowfall amounts on hutchesweather.com, you're going to get taken to the national repository, the National Weather Service bank, if you will, of snowbanks, if you will. And this is how much snow has fallen. Do you see all these yellow and red dots and orange dots across Montana and out into Idaho, where we have reports of over 30 inches of snow for some of these areas, and that's just in the last 24 hours. And out there in the Snoqualmie Pass area and parts of Oregon, we're seeing some healthy amounts as well. And outside of Sacramento, we're seeing some heavy and lofty snowfall amounts, where Soda Springs is cracking open the can because they've got, well, it looks like 14 inches of snowfall there. So not only can you get snowfall reports by clicking at the top of the map up there where it says road conditions, this is where you can go up to northeast Montana. So we're going to click on the Montana link right at the top of the page. Do you see it right there? So when I click on that puppy, it's going to open up the Montana road conditions. And as that happens, we'll get to take a peek at what's going on with that snowfall that's taking place in northeast Montana. So For Hutch's family that's up there in northeast Montana in that Poplar area, check it out. Highway 2 going through the area here with, looks like the lanes covered with snow, but at least the visibility is pretty good. Earlier this evening, the wind was really causing problems up in northeast Montana. This is that Navajo area, and we do have some, well, there it is. There's some wind and some blowing snow across the area, making travel a little bit on the icy and dicey side for those areas. HutchesWeather.com, check it out. And for those of you who have not done so yet, I'd really appreciate it if you take a moment when you go to Hutch's page on Facebook, click the follow button, and I'd love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel. For now, I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. That's a look at our 2 weather systems. I'll keep you informed as we go through a wild week of weather here in the Northern Plains. HutchesWeather.com, anytime, anywhere. Follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, get a good night's rest, stay warm, and we'll talk again very